Welcome again to this second part of the video on the basic of arithmetic. In this class we shall discuss on how to add any two numbers. Before adding any two numbers, you should be well aware of the sign of these two numbers. The sign can be plus or minus. Any two number it can have a plus or minus sign, and not more than that. Either it will have plus or minus. Now if you add any two number, you will encounter four different situations where both of these numbers are positive. If both of these two numbers are positive, then you have nothing to do. You just add those two numbers. Clear? You just add those two numbers. The second situation is when one number is plus, the other number is minus. Plus with minus, it will be minus. That means you have to minus those two numbers. And the sign, whatever you are getting after subtraction, the sign will depend on which number, on the greater number which is having that sign. Okay, if the number is the greater number is plus, then the result you will get as plus. If the greater number is minus, then the answer will be with minus sign. Okay. The third situation is when both of these two numbers they are minus. Minus plus with minus, it will be plus. Minus minus will be plus. The number will be added together, but the sign will remain minus. Please take a note on here. If minus you add with minus, minus with minus will be plus. That means you have to add them together, but the sign will remain minus sign. The fourth situation is where one is minus, the other is plus. Plus minus is minus, that means you have to minus them, and the sign will depend on which of the two number is greater. If the greater number is having minus sign, then the answer will be minus. If the greater number is plus sign, then the answer will be plus. Clear? Let us look at the example I've given here. 2 minus 7. 2 minus 7. 2 here is, if there is no sign, that means you should take it as plus sign. Plus with minus, it is minus, isn't it? Plus with minus, it is minus. That means you have to subtract 7 by 2, which you will get 5. Now the sign will depend on which number is greater. Which number is greater is 7, and this 7 is having a minus sign. That means the answer will be having minus. Clear? 2 minus 7 is 5, but sign will depend on which sign is greater, plus or minus. Is minus, because this 7 is minus 7, therefore the answer will be minus 5. If you have a situation minus 8 minus 9, minus minus will be plus. The number should be added together. 8 plus 9 is 17, but the sign will remain minus. Are you clear? Sign will remain minus, but the number should be added together. The third situation is when 1 is minus, order is plus, plus minus is minus again. This means 7 minus 5 is 2, but the sign will be, which sign is greater? Minus 7 is 7 is greater than 5, but 7 is having with minus sign, therefore the answer will be minus 2. And the last is if you add any two number, if both are a plus sign, you just add these two. 7 plus 2 would give us 9. Okay, now on multiplication of the two numbers, if you have any two number, if you want to multiply them, this first situation, if both the number are plus, then the product will be plus. If you have one is plus, the other is minus, then the product will be the product of those two numbers, but the sign will be minus. Plus minus is minus, you have to multiply those two numbers, but sign will be minus. Now the third condition is that if you have any two number which having a minus sign, minus with minus, it is plus. That means the sign also will be plus. Sign will be plus, the number will be multiplied together. Clear? And the last one, if one is minus, the other is plus, plus minus will be minus, mean minus the product of two number. Clear? Now if you multiply two numbers, plus with plus you will get plus, minus with minus you will get plus again. But if any one of them is minus, you will get the product as minus. Plus minus is minus, minus with plus is also minus. Let us look at the example here. When you multiply 2 with 7, 2 is plus, 7 is minus, plus minus is minus, 2 multiply 7 is 14. When you have both the number minus, minus 8 minus 9, minus minus plus 8 multiply 9 is 72. You see here 72 is positive because minus minus become plus. Clear? In the third case where one is minus, other is plus, then you will get minus sign, minus of 7 multiply 5, which is 35. And if both of them are plus, then the answer, the product will be plus itself. 2 multiply 7, which is equal to 14. Okay. Next we'll discuss on the law of exponent, or sometimes we are calling law of indices. Here, if you multiply any two number having different power, but the base is the same, having the same base but different power, if you multiply them, what you will get? You will get that base with the power added together. Am multiply an is equal am plus n. Mean if you have the same base, the power should be added together. Am bracket n, which is am multiply n. Am bracket n will be am multiply n. Am, here a is the base. Remember, a is the base, m is the power of that base. A is base, m is its power. Here also a is the base, n is the power. If you divide any two number having a different power, then what you will get? Am minus n. The base will be the same, but the power will be subtracted. Am minus an. Remember, if you multiply them, the power will be added. If you divide them, the power will get subtracted. Clear? A, B within bracket to power n, you can write them separately as a to power n multiply with b to the power n. Same thing with a by b to the power n, you can separate this power as a to power n divided by b to the power n. Here next we have if a by b, if you have the power of minus n, remember if you have power minus n, then you can write as reciprocal of a by b, you can write b by a to the power n. Why? Because a to power n, if you take this number to the numerator, this n will become minus. It will be an will become a to power minus n. Clear? Like here in number 7, a to power minus n by b power minus n, you can write as b to power n. If you take this b which is in denominator, if you can write as a numerator but having a sign opposite. If it's plus, it will be minus. If it's minus, it will be plus. Clear? A to power minus n is 1 to the power a 1 by a to the power n. If you have 1 by a power n, if you take this a to the numerator, you can write as a to power minus n. These are just few simple things that you should remember. Next we have a to power 0 is equal 1. That means if any base is having the power of 0, then that should be equal to 1. Then if you have 1 by a is equal to a to power minus 1, because a is having to power how much? A is having to power 1. If you bring this denominator to the numerator, if you write as a whole number, to the numerator, then this power will become negative. Plus will become minus. If you have minus, it will become plus. Okay, now let us look at the example here. 2 to power 2 multiply 2 to power 3, having same base 2, different in power. Then what we will do? 2 to power 2 plus 3, that means 2 to the power 5. The same thing like if you in algebra, if I think you have come across many times, if x square multiply x cubed, what you will get? You will not get x power 6. This power cannot be multiplied. If you multiply x square multiply x cubed, then the power should be added. You will get x to power 5. Clear? This is because of the law of exponent. Am multiply an is called am plus n. When you multiply any two base having different power, then it will be, those power should be added. Clear? Like 2x multiply 3x square. Yes, of course 2 and 3 can be multiplied. 2 multiply 3 is 6. X is having power 1. X square mean power 2 plus power 1, you will get power 3, mean 6x cubed. Okay. Next example is that 10 cubed divided by 10, mean 10 is having power how much? Power 1. You can write as 10 power 3 minus 1, that is 10 square. Here on the right side I've shown you, if you have 10 cubed, mean 10 cubed is how much? 1000. 10 multiply 10 is 100. 100 multiply 10 is 1000. If you divide by 10, you cancel this 10 from numerator, 10 from denominator, you will have 100. 100 is can written as 10 square, isn't it? But instead of doing this, we'll just remember this formula, the law of exponent, that am divided an is called am minus n. That is m minus n. 3 minus 1 here will be 3 minus 1 is 2. The same thing if you have 1 by 10 square. If you want to write as negative power, you can write as 10 to the power minus 2. Now in a fraction, 2 by 3 having the power of 2, then you can write separately this power as 2 square by 3 square, which is 4 by 9. If you have 2 by 3 to power minus 2, then what you'll do? Instead of 2 by 3, you'll write 3 by 2, 3 square by 2 square, which is 9 by 4. Clear? Because why? 2 to power minus 2 will go down. Minus will become plus if you place it in the as a denominator. 3 to power minus 2 will become plus of power 2 if you take it to the numerator. Clear? Amn, this is having amn will be am multiply n. 2 by 3 power 2 bracket 3 will be 2 by 3 bracket to the power of 2 multiply 3, which is 6. That means you can write separately as 2 power 6, 3 power 6. Okay, remember that any base of power 0 is always 1, and any base not showing any power or exponent should be considered having a power of 1. If you write any number, then if someone asks you what is the power of this number, then definitely the power should be 1. If no power is showing, no exponent is showing, then you should take as the power of 1. Next, we have in this example for if you write 2 to the power 0, then this will become 1. X power 0, this is also 1. X, then 5, then y, all these are having the power of 1. Remember, 2 to the power 0 is 1, but if you write 2 to the power 1 is 2, or x power 1 is x only, 5 to the power 1 is 5 only. The power is not showing here, but you should consider that all these are having a power of 1. Clear? Because if you are having power of 0, then we cannot write as x or y. It is, if y is having power 0, then it become 1. Clear? Next, if 10 is raised to the power minus 2, then this can be written as 1 to the power 1 divided by the power of 2, that is 1 by 100. 1 by 8 can be written as 1 by 2 multiply cubed. 8 is 2, 2, 2. 2 multiply 2 is 9. 1 by 2 power cubed. If you want to write take this 2 cubed to the numerator, we'll write as 2 to the power minus 3. Okay, all these are because of we can write like this is because of the law of exponent. Clear? Now we come to the law of radical. Radical means a root sign. Now remember, here I've shown right side, this on this cone shape of a radical sign, the number which is here will be called as the order of the root. This root sign is also called as the radical sign, and the number which is present here will be called as the base. Any number which is present as a root of, within the root radical sign will be a base. Okay, now here in the law of radical it says that if the order and the power are equal, then you will get only a base, no power, no radical sign, nothing. Clear? N root over of a to power n with the order n will be equal to a. Now the second is that if n root a multiply n root b, this can be multiplied together. Because why? Because they are having the same order. If the order of the root is equal, then you can multiply those two root together as n root a multiply b. Remember that you cannot multiply if they are having different order. Only if they are having the same order, then you can multiply these two base together. N root a divided by n root b you can write as a separate as is within the same radical sign of n root a divided b. The same thing as just opposite to the number 1, the first law here. If you are writing a to power 1 by n, this can be written as, because why? Because this numerator here I've shown you on the right side, if any base to if the power is having a fraction, then the numerator part will be a power. The fraction, this denominator part will be the order of the radical sign. Order of whom? Order of the radical sign. Now if you have a 1 by n, means a is having the power of 1 and the order of the radical sign will be n. A to power m divided by n will be a to power m, the order of radical sign will be n. Clear? Let us look at the example here. If you write root 25 is this 20, but 25 is a square of 5, isn't it? Here what is the order of this radical sign? What order of this root? It is order of 2. Remember, if there is no order shown on that radical, then you should remember it is the order of 2. If it's the order of 3, then order should be written 3. If order is 4, it will be written 4. 5 will be written 5. But if the order is 2, the order will not be written. You just have to remember that the order of that root is 2, or it is a square root sign. Clear? Now the order is 2 and the power is 2, then what you will get? You will get that radical sign will get removed. You will get only 5. Root 5 multiply root 3, you will get root 15. Why? Because the order of these radical sign are the same. Here the order 2, here also order 2. Then you can multiply these two radical together. Clear? Root 8 divided by root 2. Same thing here also. Since the order of root is 2, then you can divide 8 divided by 2, which gives us 4. But 4 is a square of 2, and here the order and the power are equal. Then you can remove the radical sign and write only the base. Then next we have the example of cube root of 125. 125 is the cube of 5. 5 multiply 5 is 25. 25 multiply 5 is 125. You can write as 5 cubed. And here the order and the power, they are equal. Then you can write only the base. Clear? Now 5 to the power 1 by 2 can be written as 5 to the power 1. 5 to the power 1 is 5 only, and the order of the radical sign will be 2, which we don't need to write. We need not to write that order because this sign is already a square root sign. Clear? 2 to the power 3 by 5. Now 3 is the power, 5 is the order. That means root over of 2 cubed to the order of 5. Clear? Now 3 to the power of minus 2 by 3. You can write this as 3 to the power minus 2 bracket 1 by 3, isn't it? Because if you write bracket, this will be this power will have to multiply itself, and they have to just multiply them. Minus 2 multiply 1 is minus 2 by 3 itself. Okay, but 3 to the power minus 2 you can write as 1 by 3 to the power 2. If you take it down, this minus sign, the power of minus, will become plus 3 to the power 2, isn't it? Now 1 to, you can separate this power. 1 to the power 1 by 3 will be 1 to the power 1, order of the root will be 3, and 3 square having the power of 1 by 3, the same thing. 3 power 2, order of the root will be 3. Root 1 cubed, cube root of 1 will be 1 itself. Cube root of 3 square will remain. We cannot take out of radical sign because this 3 should have the power of 3 so that it will get removed from the radical sign. Here we cannot remove from radical sign because 3 is having power of 2. We can just write 1 by cube root of 3 square, which is 9. Clear? Remember here that the order of radical sign is always 2 unless written. That means if here in all these radical which they have not shown the order, that means you should take the order of that radical sign to be 2. Okay, or you can say that it is a square root sign. For this class we'll stop here. I think I hope that you will understand what we have discussed in this class, and this thing you will find it application in many of the problem that you will come across in solving the problem which you have come across. You may utilize any of these properties, any of this law, the law of radical, the law of exponent, and then the discussion that we have taken at the very beginning, that how to add and how to subtract the two number. This is very important. You should go thoroughly on this so that there will be no mistake on adding or multiplying any two number. Clear? Hope that you understand this, and we'll try to discuss the next part on our next class. Bye to all of you.